The furor continues this evening over the reported efforts of a Soviet diplomat's son to stay here in the United States. Soviet embassy officials are refusing to allow the U.S. State Department to talk with the teenager, who allegedly wrote President Reagan earlier this week asking for his help in remaining in this country. The Soviets are now accusing the FBI of harassing and illegally detaining the boy's family. The Soviet embassy calls the State Department's request to interview the Russian youth an unprecedented and gross violation of international law.
Four Democratic presidential hopefuls were in Iowa today for a special forum on arms control. Senators Alan Cranston, John Glenn, and Gary Hart, and former Vice President Walter Mondale all indicated they would not rule out the use of America's nuclear arsenal. Cranston, Mondale, and Hart all voiced support for the nuclear freeze resolution pending in the Senate, but Glenn said the freeze fails to answer complex questions. In answer to another query, Glenn said he would not retaliate if the Soviet Union fired a missile that, in his words, hits out in the west, in the mountains, or someplace.
Officials with Houston-based Continental Airlines continue to grapple with today's walkout by their 8th largest union. The 2,000-member Machinists Union, which includes the airline's mechanics, cabin cleaners, and maintenance workers, walked off the job at midnight. Service has been suspended to 17 cities, but otherwise, company officials say it's business as usual on 85% of its routes. All of that could change tomorrow, though. That's when Continental's pilots will vote whether to honor the machinists' picket lines. Remember the PATCO strike of 1981? Former air traffic controller Richard Hoover, who was convicted of taking part in that illegal strike against the government, has now surrendered to federal marshals in Houston. His 90-day prison sentence had been stayed pending appeal, but Hoover says he'll go ahead and start serving his time so that he can get back to work.
Voters in Dallas and 20 suburbs at this hour are favoring the creation of a regional mass transit authority. With 86% of all precincts counted, nearly 56% of the voters are voting for the authority. 44% are against the plan. If approved, the authority would begin collecting a 1-cent sales tax to construct an $8.7 billion rail system. That system would be the first of its kind in Texas, with 160 miles of rail lines built over the next 27 years. Here in Austin, only about 800 people turned out to vote today, but apparently that was more than enough to legalize bingo in Justice of the Peace Precinct 5. The final results in the special election shows 689 people voted in favor of legalizing bingo, 104 against. Up until tonight, Precinct 5 was the only area in Travis County where bingo was illegal. In 1981, the state legislature enacted a law allowing local option bingo games. That measure allows nonprofit, fraternal, religious, or veterans groups to operate bingo games. The funds can be used for charity or public service. Still to come in our news, a San Antonio jury remains deadlocked tonight in the Linda Burnett murder trial.
And in sports, Dean will take a look at some ladies who will amaze you with their skill on skis.
And later in the news, Steve Garcia will have an Aerofest preview.
In the fall...
What's the connection? Texas Employment Commission. These Texas businesses have discovered TEC's valuable services.
When we opened the Marriott Quorum, our major concern was recruitment of quality staff. TEC helped us find the caliber of employee we needed. TEC worked for us, and I urge other employers to contact TEC with their job openings.
Texas Employment Commission. Together, we can put Texas back to work.
Solace. Do you know what the words siempre juntos means in Spanish? It means always together. This is what Boy Scouts is all about. And it connotes the comradeship and the growing up together into manhood that Boy Scouts and the principle of Boy Scouts make possible. I know what I'm talking about because I've been a Scoutmaster and I've been a Scouter. And I have seen young men formed into real men by Boy Scouts and the principles of Scouting.
Night of deliberations for jurors in San Antonio as they attempt to reach a verdict in the capital murder trial of Linda Mae Burnett. Burnett is charged with the execution-style slaying of Martha Phillips, one of 5 family members found shot to death in a shallow grave near Winnie, Texas, back in 1978. Earlier this afternoon, the jury sent a note to the judge saying it's deadlocked 11-1 for convicting the 35-year-old Burnett. The judge told jurors to continue deliberations.
The parents of a 7-week-old girl who died in a San Antonio hospital have filed a damage suit against the public facility. Jesse and Eloise Garcia's daughter, Terry Lynn, was a patient at the Bexar County Hospital District in 1981. She was in the hospital's intensive care unit when vocational nurse Janine Jones was employed there. Jones has since been indicted on charges she injected 7 children with a powerful muscle relaxant, causing 1 death. The lawsuit does not specify an amount of damages. The number of reported syphilis cases may have leveled off nationwide, but not here in Texas. State Health Department officials said today that Texas continued to show an increase in 1982 and ranked #1 in the nation. Texas ended the year with more than 6,300 cases, a 19% increase over the year before. So far this year, the number of reported cases is 2% higher than the first half of 1982. And Steve, you have made quite an abrupt change from your 6 o'clock attire.
Well, I tell you, inside with the air conditioning, I'm glad to have my suit coat on, but outside this afternoon with Aquafest, thank God for the shorts. It was terribly warm this afternoon, and it was also warm across a lot of the rest of the country. We'll look at that in just a moment.